today I'm going to show you a simple version of a graphical line follower. This is going to be a one sensor line follower. Basically our motors would oscillate back and forth as our sensor moves across the line. So we're opening Graphical Robot C. I'm going to do a new file here, and before you get started, make sure you designate your motor sensor setup to match what's on your robot. And if you remember, there's another video there where I set up a configuration that you can save to your local computer. So I'm going to use my configuration here, called our GHS Clawbot. Hit apply, I'll say OK. I want to confirm that is exactly what I have. So my left motor is in port 1, my right motor is in port 2. Don't really worry about your claw and arm motor right now. But more importantly here, our line sensors. Now I'm just using one line sensor. The graphical coding only really works with a single line follower setup. So I'm going to use my center line follower. I need to make sure it is in the analog import number 2, and then these would be our digital sensors, and we're not really using any of them for this code, but that's what our code setup is. Let's start out here with a simple wait command. So we'll come down here and drag our wait block out, which is under timing. Okay, and it's always good to start. We'll just do a 2-second wait here. It kind of gets us ready for things to run. I'm going to then reset my timer, and I'm going to use a while loop that is time-based, and it's good. This is a good way to do some simple programming. So we'll say while, and let's go down here to our timers. Let's get timer 1. While timer 1 is less than or equal to, and we can set a time. Let's say we're going to run this. Now timer 1 is in seconds, is what I chose here. So we'll run this, let's say, for 30 seconds. So I'm going to run my program for 30 seconds, and then I put my code in that loop. Let's just use a line tracking code, which is built in our graphic blocks here. Now, line track left versus line track right. We'll pull line track left out, and I'll explain some things. So the first piece here is where's your sensor, and it should pick up my line sensor for which I called center sensor. I actually don't see that. It's in input 2. Now this first number is the sensor value, what is white versus what is black. A higher number, and I'll go with say 1200 here. Higher number is it is not going to be as dark. In other words, if I have a low number, there was 50 that's in there, that is a really dark line that's looking at, and a lot of times it needs to be right up against the sensor. So you can change the sensitivity here, but this will still be a significant difference. The higher the number is, the lighter or brighter the light reflection is back to the sensor. So we'll just say 1200 here, and what this says is run my left motor at 50. Well, let's just do 63, which is half speed, and run my right motor at 0. This is going to be an oscillating setup, so it's going to go back and forth, left, right, as it tracks on and off of the line. So it will do that for 30 seconds, and then let's say, hey, after 30 seconds, let's just have it stop our motors. So let's go to a motor control block up here, and stop all motors. So we'll drop that up there. We'll call that our program for the time being. Let's compile it, make sure it doesn't have errors. Okay, we're going to ask it, we'll give it a name here. I'm going to just put this one in my downloads, and I'll call this a line sample. Okay, so line sample's there. Let's save that. It compiles it. Now I need to make sure my robot is plugged in. You don't see this here, but I have my USB port, my USB is plugged into the Cortex. I'm going to download that to the robot. Okay, and that went successfully. And now when I hit start, it should wait for 2 seconds, and then it's going to start to run this code. So maybe you'll hear this as this works. So here we go. Hit start, and in 2 seconds it starts running. I don't know if you can hear it, but my sensors are reacting to my hand in front of them, and my motors are running. But basically it's oscillating back and forth. When there is a light value, the left motor is running. When there's a dark value, the hand's in front, the right motor is running, and they're running at half speed. And then after 30 seconds that stops, and our program is run successfully, and so we could reloop it. So there's a very simple graphical program. If I want to set this file in a text format or see what it looks like in a text format, I'm just going to convert that, and here's our sample. So in the text format, it's using the configuration I set up, so you don't see exactly where my sensors are. There's my task main. We're waiting for 2 seconds. We reset T1 timer, and then so it's going to start over from 0, and then within a 30-second block, we run line track left, and there are my settings, and then it stops all motors. So a very simple version of the same program in script text there. So hopefully that works and gets you some basic dynamics. Good luck.